Independence, Missouri, April 14th. Preparing for the trail. Independence stands like a knot of raw timber at the edge of the prairie. The town reaches the nose before the eye. Beef fat, lamp oil, dung, wet wood, bacon smoke. After that, the racket. Wheels grind, teamsters bawl, a bell clangs from a shop, and behind it a preacher shouting about Babylon, hawking sin like it might be weighed and sold. My house struck company with the Albrights and the Dufresnes, reckoning that 3 houses fare better than 1. Yet it is manners more than fondness that holds us. Their smiles purchase calmer nights, not friendship. I expect they keep the same thought about me. Still, I set their names beside mine as a ledger worth keeping. The Whitlows, myself Jonas, age 38, my wife Rebecca, 34, our young ones, Abigail 11, Nathaniel 8, and Lydia 5. The Albrights, Matthew 42, and his wife Eliza, 37. Their children, Simon 13, and Ruth Ann 10. Matthew's elder brother, Silas 45, marches with them, though he keeps more to his own company than theirs. The Dufresne, Charles 40, with Margaret 32. They bring Daniel 7 and little Clara 4. 4 wagons for 3 households, 7 grown, 7 still learning, 14 in all with Silas. This night my flock takes a narrow room above a livery. The floor trembles when the horses stamp below. Rebecca sets her Bible beside a pencil nub for the little ones and says they will read the word together before sleep. I had prayers of a different sort waiting in the marketplace and took the stairs down 2 at a time to meet them. It's a quick lesson that this endeavor will breed the need for supplies like vermin. Bacon, flour, beans, coffee, salt, grease, axles, spokes, rawhide, tallow, shot, caps, a pinch of medicine, and more mercy than I can find. At the stock pens, a German slapped the red flank of a steer. He'll walk to China if you ask him nice. I told him I had no business in China. He barked a laugh and pressed his price. I weighed the steer, rolled my hat brim once between palm and crown, then said, "I'll pay, but you throw in the yoke pin." He spat and said, "You're rough with the tongue." We met halfway. I once prized haggling. Now I dislike the trade. It throws light where a man would rather keep the shutters drawn. Money does not befriend. There's no kindness to be had with currency. By evening, Independence turns into a show house for boasts. Men puff by the fire, swearing they'll strike Oregon before winter, spitting as though spit alone could ferry them across the plains. One fellow near the square declared, "I'll be drinking California Gold in 2 months." Another voice fired back, "You'll be drinking Platte water before that and shitting your guts out in a ditch." There was laughter, then a scuffle, and then the sheriff came and all went quiet as if no word had been spoken. Such is the tongue of emigrants before a march. We depart soon. Let good things find us. Kansas River Crossing, April 23rd, 7 days gone. The road has found its voice, and it is a hard one. Mud clutched the wheels so deep we spent hours laying brush to keep the wagons from sinking whole. The oxen blew steam and heaved like smiths at the anvil. A boy from another train fell under a wheel this morning. His father gave one cry, then hushed. They scraped a trench, set him in, pulled soil over him, and the column moved before the mound had settled. Such is the reckoning of the plains. The Albrights ride close. Matthew keeps his rifle across his arm as though Sue might spring from every draw. Silas struts beside him and fills the day with talk. The Dufresnes fare worse. They falter already. One ox went lame, and Charles barked at it for half the day as if a curse might mend a hoof. Margaret drifts in her own thoughts, dust in her hair, the youngest tucked tight to her dress. More than once she fixed on the wagons ahead, as if a place among strangers might feel easier than the place she stands. I will not judge, but I can read weariness. My own Rebecca does her best to stir cheer. She spoke with Eliza Albright, saying the children must be turned loose when the grass lies green and dry, else they'll wither in the wagon. Eliza made a show of listening while sipping her tea, yet her attention strayed, her mind elsewhere. We crossed the blue with trouble. A wagon from another party tipped and near lost the load. Men shouted and threw ropes. Hemp sang. One fellow cursed heaven till his tongue near split, then kissed the ground when the rims bit dirt again. After they righted her, we fell in with them for a spell. By their fire the talk turned to graves. One said, "I counted 12 since sunup." Another raised a tin cup. "Best quit counting. Keep at it and you'll find your own." No one laughed. Smoke held to our coats. Coyotes cried far off. I lay awake after, listening to Rebecca whisper her prayers with the children. I have prayers of my own, though they do not pass my lips. Along the Platte, near Grand Island, May 19th. The road strips a man as lie strips cloth. At dawn our wheels rattled over hardpan. By noon they sank to the hub where the Platte sprawls wide. That river is no river at all, only a gutter of mud. Waist deep will drown a man, for it drags harder than it looks. The air carried wet clay and spoiled fish. We camped by the banks 2 nights past. The Dufresnes lag further each day. Charles walks stiff as timber. Margaret fades to the river's color and coughs like grain spilling in a hopper. Rebecca drew their camp near ours and fussed with soup and comfort. Margaret dipped once in thanks and kept to herself. Charles kept his brim down. The brim hid whatever lived under it. When the fire took, the men spoke of the ford ahead. Matthew Albright said, "We push at dawn, currents slow enough to walk." Silas kicked a coal. "Tame water still eats men. I seen it." I answered, "We aim straight and stay close. No one turns back for something that ends up in the wash." Silas showed teeth like kernels. "Even if it was your child bobbing down the stream?" I gave him nothing. He laughed to fill the gap. I have no liking for that man. Platte Ford, near Plum Creek, May 20th. We set the wagons in line at first light. The river showed its teeth in small curls where sandbars cut the flow. I went out with a pole to test the bed. It shifted under me like grain in a bin. "Keep to the left of that snag," I called. "Bottom holds better this way." Matthew led first, rifle on one arm, wheels groaning, oxen leaning through the brown press. Eliza sat steady with their girl and boy under the tilt. Water climbed to the spokes, then eased as the box found a shoal. They came out wet, but whole. I brought ours next. Rebecca held the little ones under the canvas. I kept my mouth shut and the oxen's head straight. Mud gripped and let go, like a hand with second thoughts. We reached the far side with only the hubs dripping. Silas followed, laughing at the water as if laughter were a charm. He swore at a log that knocked his wheel. It slid off and he whooped like a boy. Charles held back, staring at the water as if it had called him by name. He lashed down their chest and crate. Margaret sat with Daniel on her lap, Clara tight to her side. The lame ox balked at the bank. Charles struck once, then twice, then faced me. "Keep your line," I said. "Do not fight the push. Let it pass and walk with it." He marked a scent and clucked the team on. The box went in straight, then drifted. The lame ox dragged right for the easy water. A wheel caught in a hole. The box sank inch by inch and jammed fast. Margaret went rigid. The children cried. "Rope!" Charles shouted. Matthew threw a coil. It fell short, and the current dragged it under like a snake. I waded out with another line. Water shoved at my legs and near took me off my feet. Mud unlaced my boots and I stumbled. "Cut the wheel free," Silas called. Charles plunged for the rim, scraping for purchase. The current hammered the box. The near ox dropped to its knees. The yoke dragged the other sideways. Margaret called his name, her cry the last air in a draft. I threw again. The rope bit the axle, men hauled with me. The wheel rose, slipped, and the box lurched left. The far side dipped. Water poured in. Daniel's small arms flared up, then were gone in the brown flood. Margaret tried to rise, but the slant pitched her down. She locked Clara to her, and both went under. Charles gave one cry and leapt. A man does not reckon what is wise in such hours. He goes where love drives him. The river took him too. I pushed forward until the river lifted my feet from under me. Then I turned. If I had not, it would have kept me too. On the bank, men shouted words I could not make out. The empty wagon righted after its work was done, half full, canvas folded like a drowned wing. The oxen thrashed, found footing, and stood shaking. We hauled it out with 3 teams and set soaked goods on shore. We searched the eddies and the willow snags for a little. Matthew waded with rope about his waist. Silas stood on the bar shading his brow, as if the sun itself had stolen the family. Rebecca prayed aloud, weeping without shame, and I loved her for it. At last the little boy surfaced, shirt torn from his chest. Matthew dragged him in, laid him on the stones, worked him till his arms shook. The boy coughed once, then no more. The girl never came back, nor her mother, nor Charles. We buried what we had, stones upon canvas, no pastor, no words but our own. Eliza laid a ribbon on the heap. Rebecca pressed her palm to it as if soothing fever. Silas turned away, smoked, and ground the butt into the mud. I set their names in my book: Charles Dufresne, Margaret, Daniel, Clara. Ash Hollow, Nebraska, June 1st. We move leaner now. Less noise on the trail, fewer mouths at the pot, fewer hands at the rope. The Albrights speak less than before. Matthew's eyes have taken a cast like a horse that smells a storm. Eliza tends to her children with a soft face, though she drifts when her tea flows, her mind never surviving the first cup. 6 days passed, a wagon rode the rim behind us. It rose with the dawn and lingered till dusk. 2 white-colored oxen drew it at an even pace. The matter was raised at supper. "You mark that ghost?" Silas said, pipe stem wagging down the line. "I mark it," I answered. He hacked up something green. "I wager he waits for one of us to fall. Then he'll come and claim the leavings." Matthew said, "Could be a straggler, maybe. Folks lose pace easy." Silas ground his heel in the dust. "Or a thief. I seen men keep to the rim till dark, then slide in and take what they fancy." Rebecca said from behind my shoulder, "Perhaps he fears to ride near us. Perhaps he is alone and finds safety keeping close." Eliza added, "A man may not be wicked for keeping to himself." Matthew cut the air with his palm. "A man who will not show his face is a man I do not trust." Rebecca said, "Shall we ride out and meet them?" "No," I said. "A man joins when he wishes. If he hangs back, he means to. If he gives us silence, we should return the same." Eliza lifted her cup and stared into it. We let the dark take the rest of the talk and left the wagon to trail at its distance. Scotts Bluff, Nebraska, June 10th. Today we passed a jag of rock. It thrust from the plain like the finger of a buried giant raised to heaven. Wind scoured its sides and sent dust across our train. The children coughed. The men spat and cursed the grit in their teeth. Even through the dust, the wagon still follows. I viewed the oxen through Matthew's old spyglass. Chalk heads bent, tails swishing at flies, matching us step for step. Silas could not keep his tongue. While we watered the stock, he said, "I don't reckon it's a thief any longer. I reckon it is Death himself, keeping tally till our turn comes." Matthew snapped, "Hush before the children hear." Silas grunted. Best they learn it now. Death walks this trail same as us. I will not speak it aloud, but I set it here. A wagon without a driver carries one errand, and it is not good. Crossroads Camp, 3 days east of Fort Laramie, June 11th. We pitched camp where the road split like a snake's tongue. One rut climbed to a high bench, the other kept the river's bend. We took the low sweep for grass and water, then set the tongues, pins, and pots to their places. By sundown the wind fell away. Gnats rose and a sour wet lay over us. Rebecca set bread to warm near the coals. The Albrights fussed with the team and washed a cut on the near ox. Laramie in 3 days, Silas said. I can smell soldier beans from here. See to the tether pin first, Matthew said. We will look at Laramie when we arrive, no sooner. As our stew thickened, a figure came out of the dark. His pace stayed even, as if the ground answered to him. Visitor, I said. Matthew rose at once. Silas came up bent at the waist, palm near his pistol. Eliza fixed on the newcomer in the firelight. Rebecca drew the children to her skirt and set them there without a word. The stranger stepped into our ring as if invited. Black garments covered him from crown to sole. His hat bore a gambler's brim, narrow and pulled low. A plain leather coat hung stiff from travel, fit to turn rein or blade. Gloves black, boots black. Their tread kept a courthouse hush. He wore no dandy's shine. He was the dull color of the sky before a rain. In his arms he bore a hefty chest. He set it down to the dirt with care, like a man laying a child to rest. No pant, no grunt, no strain. Only the thud of wood on dust. Matthew watched him as a hunter watches the brush. None of us spoke, so he did. Evening to you. His words were flat and clear, owing to no river, south, nor Yankee town. Evening, Silas said, testing the man like strange meat. The stranger took us in, one after another. Fire found his face, little by little, like dawn creeping a hill. At first I thought his features were blackened by soot and ash, but no. His skin bore a dark lacquer paint. Across that black foundation lay a pristine white skull drawing, made from brush strokes fine as filigree. Bright sketched teeth, fixed in a grin that would not shift. Cheekbones high and cut deep, shaded like a fresh carving from a mason's tool. Matthew spoke up. So you're the one who's been trailing us for a fair distance. I am, the stranger answered. I said, listen, we are private folk on a long journey. If you mean trade, speak to it. If you seek our camp for a night's rest, say so. He tipped his hat a fraction. I'm here to sit at your fire tonight, that's all. I bring a game for travelers like yourselves. We have no need for games, Matthew told him. The paint smiled, the flesh did not. You need a great many things, Matthew. This one costs little. Silas snorted. Nothing runs cheap on this road. The stranger fixed on Silas, or through him. Fire struck his stare and set a gleam like ice under a blue moon. The whites sat wrong, rim showing high and low so that they cut with more edges than a saw. You are right. He crouched then and brushed ash from the chest lid. Leather creaked. The box bore scars across its grain, as if men had hammered at it before. From his pocket he drew a brass key gone green at the teeth. He set it on the lid and left it there. Rebecca set her palms on the children's brows, so they would not see the man. Even Eliza drew her boy and girl close, though her grip shook. The stranger fixed upon Rebecca, not with a flick, but with the full weight of his attention. Madam, he said, I have no bargain with you. Take the little ones to your wagon, the Albrights young as well. Keep them safe under the tilt. Hear nothing that follows, and let them hear nothing. What is this? Rebecca asked. A game for the wanting, he said. He lifted his face toward the wagons. "Now take them and guard them." She looked to me. I gave a sign. She gathered our children and led them off, skirt brushing the dirt. The canvas sighed as she drew it closed. Eliza held her place, and he did not bid her move. He faced us. "Folks." "Name yourself," Silas said. "I carry many names." "We would like to hear one," Matthew said. "Tonight I'm a dealer," the man said, tapping his chest with one knuckle. "Then speak your game," Matthew said. The man inclined his head as though pleased. "It is this. You have 1 hour by the fire's shadow. In that hour you may ask what you will. When the hour ends, each of you must name me. Be I death, devil, or man. Then you will place a tribute in this chest to match your judgment. If you name true, the box and all within are yours. If false, I keep your gift and a little more." "What is the value of this tribute we are to part with?" Matthew said. "Equal to the weight of your certainty," the man said, "and your desire." "What rests in the chest?" Silas said. "Things that matter to men. Money? Some. Arms? Some. Food? None," he said. The paint grinned. The face did not. "And if we will not play?" I said. He fixed upon me. Whites too wide, centers clear as glacier water. "You will still choose before morning, Jonas Whitlow. This game is just a courtesy." The sound of my name in his mouth set my teeth to stone. Silas caught it and grinned at me like a spooked mule. "Hell, why not? I'll play. I'll have your box within the hour, Skull Man." The stranger did not look to him. He kept on me. I thought of Rebecca behind the canvas, palms set over the children's ears, saying words that might bind us against our own tongues and choices. I wished I had given her more than space. At last he turned the key. The lock clicked like a small bone breaking. He lifted the lid. Starlight spilled over metal, silk, and paper. Within, a soldier's medal beside a woman's ring, a gold band dulled by wear, a compass whose arrow quivered like a lidless eye, a silver crucifix scarred at the arm, a handful of coins, not all of one king, a ribbon dark with sweat, a small knife with bone haft, a gold locket, a boy's marble caged in wire. There were others besides, strange and plain, dear and cheap, as if gathered from any man's house. Silas laughed. "So we guess your nature and wager trinkets on it. A fair night's sport." The man took in the light and gave none back. "It is an honest game if you are honest men." "And if none name true," I said, "then the road takes what it is owed." Matthew cut his eyes to me then, thoughts waning. "What do you all reckon? We play for some spare coin." "I have seen stranger things than gambling on this trail," I said. "Stranger men, too." Silas ran his hand along his pistol barrel. "How strange are you, friend?" The man passed his attention from one to the next as if counting us for muster. "That is yours to decide," he said. "You have 1 hour. Ask what you will." He drew no timepiece, yet I felt the hour begin. The wind shifted and the coals breathed. The dark beyond camp held the weight of a closed room. "You call yourself a dealer," Matthew said. "What is your stake?" "Only what is in the box. The rest I have already paid," the man said. "Paid with what?" "My time," he said. He lifted his face to the moon as if to measure it, then faced us again. "I find your company worth an hour." Silas let out a short laugh. "Hear that, brother? We are worth 60 minutes to a painted crow." "Let him talk," Matthew said. "Why the face?" I said. He tapped his cheek where the white teeth were drawn, a light touch, like a man testing the edge of a blade. "It keeps men from mistaking me for what they would rather see." "And what is that?" "Hope." Eliza's kettle hissed in the hush. She had gone distant, stare fixed past us. Matthew rubbed at his brow. So what marks a right tribute for the devil? Whatever shames you, the stranger answered. And for death? Whatever you dread to lose. And for a man? Whatever he is owed. Night drew in upon us, like wet canvas pulled across a frame. I would not let him steer us by riddles. Where did you come from? I said. He held me in a long look. From behind you. How long have you kept there? Long enough. And before that? From where you were not. Silas snorted. That is no answer. You are right. It is 3, the man said. The logs cracked and split. Sparks rose, drifted, and died. Matthew spoke again. Say I believe you flesh and bone. What worth is there in laying tribute before another man? Payment due, the stranger said. If you wronged a man, you owe him. If you robbed him, you owe him. If you shamed him, you owe him. A man may walk decades and never lay down the right coin. Matthew cut a hard smile across his face. You talk like one wronged yourself. Fire threw red on the stranger's face and found no warmth there. I have been wronged more ways than you could number, and I have wronged in kind. Silas barked a laugh. So you admit it. Flesh same as us. Devil takes no wrong. Death takes no loss. He tipped the brim just enough to show the paint around his sockets. Every devil claims a wrong. Every death deals in loss. Every man carries pride enough to sting. Which is worse? Matthew's mouth fixed itself like a knot. What do you know of us? I know you march west with ghosts at your back, the man said. You carry more than bacon and flour with you. Silas let out a rough sound. Speak plainer. Very well. The man brushed dust from his knee. Some of you carry debts you never spoke of. Some of you carry shame you've never named. Some of you carry both. The pit cracked, and we kept still. Then Silas shoved to his feet and pointed at the man with his tin. You talk like you've been in our houses. I have walked with you since before the Platte. I saw the Dufresnes sink. I heard no word from your lips to find them all and bury them as proper Christians. Matthew bristled. We would have lost the lot if we lingered. We have only so much to spend. You know that. He lowered his crown a hair. That is one way to see it. I see you gained a wagon of goods after they drowned. Silas let out a tight grunt. Hear that, Matt? He judges, sets himself as law. Man's law is a tale men agree to for their own comfort, the stranger said. I have no need of it. Matthew's tone cracked. And what tale do you live by if it's not the law? The one you least want heard, he said. The one seen even when no witness stands. Silence pressed like tar. My throat went dry, though my cup sat half full. I drank. Silas leaned in, lip curled. You wag about ghosts and shame. Say the name of one of these sins. Prove you know. The stranger fixed upon him, blue burning bright. He spoke with a calm heft. Ruth Ann. Eliza's cup slipped and spilled into the dirt. Her face lit with a knowing she had kept down. Silas lurched forward with pistol drawn, iron rasping from leather. Mind yourself, he said. He leveled the barrel. Sounds like you hint at something, skull face. Matthew rose, fixing on his brother. What does he mean? The man passed his attention from Silas to Matthew. His words came flat, heavy as dirt on a grave. Your brother laid where no man should lay, and bound the child's tongue with fear. He took something from his own kin that he can never give back. The night stopped. Silas stomped and ran his free hand through his hair. That's a lie. It's poison talk. He means to split us up. That's his trick. Matthew's eyes became slits. Answer me straight. What does he mean? Sit down, Matthew, Silas spit. The stranger did not stir, though the barrel stayed on him. I speak of things brittle but true. If it breaks you, it waited to break. Shut your mouth, Silas barked. He lifted the iron full on the painted skull. One more word and I settle you. Matthew stepped in close, fists drawn. Tell me he lies. He is the devil, Silas shouted. Devils lie. The stranger kept even. Then fire. If I am man, you hang for murder. If I am death, your powder is wasted. If I am devil, you have spoken your last prayer. 1 bullet, 3 doors. Which do you choose? Silas's arm shook. The painted grin held. Eliza pressed both palms to her mouth. Her stare swam with dread, though no words came. A buried guilt rose in her face. Matthew spoke with a break in it. What did you do to my Ruth? Silas swung the barrel from the stranger to his own blood. Do not accuse me, and do not speak her name to me in that way. Matthew roared, What did you do to my daughter? The painted man sat without moving, brim dropping shade over his white cheekbones. Only the regard he set on Silas held life, cold and without pity. The man said, You know already. Go ask your daughter. Let her speak with her own words. Your brother will not give you that grace. Matthew raked his scalp with both hands, then bolted toward the wagon. His boots struck hard in the dust. Silas cursed and swept the pistol wide. Devil bastard, you've ruined this camp. The stranger did not stir. No, I don't believe it was me. I caught the wagon wheel behind me to steady myself. My tongue lay heavy, and I spoke nothing. This shame was not mine to answer. Age cut lines through sweat on Silas's brow. He licked his lips and hauled in air. If he comes back with blood in his look, I shoot you first and him after. Mark me. The stranger kept on him. It does not matter who you shoot first. Truth has no pulse to stop, no matter how much lead you throw at it. The camp went dead, every soul waiting. Then I heard Matthew's boots before I saw him. He came on fast, pistol raised, face set wild. He gave no shout, no word. He leveled at his brother and fired. Once, twice, again. The night tore with each shot. Silas reeled, chest torn, then dropped to his knees. He tried to lift the iron, but Matthew fired till the chambers clicked empty. Smoke wrapped him like a funeral shroud. Silas lay still in the dirt, blood dark as oil under the fire's glow. Matthew stood over him, empty pistol hanging loose. His face carried the weight of a man who had dug his own grave with both his hands. The painted man regarded him as one regards a wound. He did not mourn, nor did he claim triumph. He spoke clear. Sit, Matthew. The hour is not done. There are more debts yet to reckon. Matthew's mouth shook. He tried to meet the stranger and faltered. He spat into the dust. What do you want? You came to play a game. That game made a grave and a broken man. What next? The man inclined his head. I told you the hour is not done. There are debts yet to be paid. You will lay down what you must, and then the road will judge if it's enough. Matthew stepped to where Silas lay. He set his boot upon his brother's frame as if to claim bitter ground, then bent. He lifted a spent shell from the dirt, turned it once, and walked to the chest. He let the brass fall among the relics as if it were a coin. Metal struck wood and rang against the rest. The sound came small and certain. May it buy you hell, Skullface, Matthew said. Heat clung to the words of a man set in choice. My brother named you devil, and so do I. Take it and leave us the night. The stranger did not shift when the brass struck. He moved with the measure of one who never hurries. His look weighed Matthew as if a man's soul sat on a scale. When he spoke, the sound was firm as a plow handle. That is not enough, he said. He lifted his crown and fixed upon Matthew. You laid one shell for the life you just took. What will you set for the life you broke long before this night? Matthew forced the words. I broke no life but his, and he earned it. The stranger did not rise in sound. A hired girl at your father's place, the year your crop failed. You found her in the shed and took what was not yours. No sheriff, no fine. Your father paid her extra wages and sent her off. You let him. She left before the snow came. You lie beside that fact each night. Matthew staggered, struck as if by a blow. He turned his attention to Eliza, then away. You do not know me. I know enough, the man said. You are not your brother. True. You are not clean either. Also true. Eliza knelt. Both palms covered her mouth, her focus fixed on the black patch where Silas bled into the earth. The kettle hissed against the stones, a thin thread of steam, and she seemed deaf to it. Matthew backed from the chest and wiped his mouth on his sleeve. I held a farm together, he said. I worked myself raw. I kept food in winter when most men ate bark. I did my best. Yes, I made mistakes. But I am not what my brother was. No, the man said. You were careful where he was brazen. You left no witness in your house. You let the hired girl carry it alone with her into the winter months. Matthew gave a small refusal. You have your tribute. You have your tale. Leave. He did not stir. You want me gone. I will go when the hour is done, not before. Matthew sought me. Jonas, tell him. I had no words fit to carry the weight. He is not my friend, nor I his counsel. Sit, Matthew, I said, steady yourself. He did not sit. He went to Silas and dropped like a stump after storm, then spoke into the dark. I did what a father must. I set it right. He would have gone on as he was, and the world with him. No court, no rope, nothing. Ruth would have no peace. You set one thing right with bullets, the man said. The older thing sits where you left it. How will you take it up and carry it? Matthew hid his face and began to shake. He leaned forward and vomited, a thin, ugly thing. Eliza slid to the ground beside him and set her palm on his back. Her touch did not find him. When she drew away, her palm came back as if from a hot plate. Matthew, she said, tell me he lies. Matthew hauled in air, then managed a broken word. It was before we were wed. That is a start, the man said. At least it is not a denial. Eliza made the smallest assent, as if the wind itself had told her the way. The man watched her. He spoke to her with a gentleness that had steel behind it. Your children can be kept safe with the right mother. That is what you tell yourself, is it not? She rose from Matthew's side and turned to the kettle. With her back to us, she set the tin cups. Her motions held the calm of an evening supper. She might have been parceling coffee or tending a stew. Eliza, I said, come back and sit with me. She kept to her work. Rebecca is a good mother. She is, the man said. She is honest. Eliza poured hot water. The kettle let out a thin sigh. From her pocket she drew a small bottle, worked the cork free, and tipped it. Amber threads ran into the cups. The bitter scent of poppy rose and vanished in the steam. Matthew did not notice. He marked the flames as if he might step through and come out made new. I said, Eliza. She lifted her head, just enough to show she had heard, though she did not face me. Her grip held steady. She poured a splash of water in a third cup and set it near the fire for the stranger. The stranger watched her and spoke for our circle alone. It is hard to hear that another woman may raise your young, yet it is good to choose it when you must. Your silence, Eliza, has cost more than you could know. Eliza set a cup in Matthew's grasp. Drink, she told him. You shake. He drank without question, his will gone to ground. She lifted her own and rose with it, then sat again at his side. She leaned into him. They might have been any husband and wife at day's end, worn thin by toil. Matthew said near to her, I am not my brother. You are not him, Eliza answered. No anger in it, nor forgiveness, only a stillness deeper than both. The painted man's eyes went to her. You are tired of fear. I am, she said. You are tired of waking every morning and looking at that which you cannot mend, he said. I am, she said again. You want the noise to stop, he added. She gave no answer. She raised her cup and drank. Steam curled across her face, then vanished. She set her palm on Matthew's knee and lifted his cup once more. Another swallow, she urged. It will let you rest. He drank. He did not see her thumb trace the stain on the rim where the laudanum clung. He did not see the bottle slip back into her dress. My mouth opened and shut, yet no words came. I turned toward the painted man. He met me without mirth. He had not moved to start it nor to stop it. He only kept his watch. Rebecca will guard them, Eliza said toward her feet. She will keep them safe where I could not. Sleep pressed on Matthew. The pistol slid from his grasp and struck his boot. He set his palm flat to the earth as if to test that the world still held firm. What did you put in that tea? Rest, she said. He bent like a child told the night had fallen. Good. I am tired. He slumped. His frame lifted and fell by lesser measures until the motion thinned out. Eliza eased him onto a blanket, set down her cup, and lay beside him. She laid her arm across his chest. She turned her face to his with tenderness drained of heat, holding only the memory of it. She spoke into his ear words I could not hear. They may have been a farewell. They may have been something worse. The stranger sat still, his regard fixed on the couple as if counting the throbs within heartbeats. The flames sank and cracked. Dust drifted in a shaft of light. At last, Matthew's frame gave only a faint thread and ceased. Eliza's followed with one small catch, like a bird at a window, and then no more. The man closed the lid of the chest with the same care he had shown in opening it. He did not turn the key. Then he set his attention on me. The hour is not finished, he said. There is time for one more debt, and you have not laid a tribute. I am not playing, I told him. Devil, death, or man, you are owed the same. Nothing. He studied me the way a farrier studies a stone in a hoof. You think nothing squares your ledger? No ledger squares out here with you, I said. I will not buy luck. I will not pay out of fear. What I owe is not for your box. What do you owe? He asked. The truth, I said, and the word tasted like a dry nail. I owe it to God and Rebecca alone. He inclined his crown as one who marks weather coming. Then go and pay it. That's it? You want no coin of mine? I want nothing that is not due to me, he answered. The night lay quiet as a room after a fight. Eliza and Matthew lay side by side where they had chosen to lie. Silas lay where Matthew had left him. The children in the wagons made small turns in their sleep, and then fell back still. I felt every witness that was not living press upon me. What are you? I asked him. I want plain talk. I am a traveler, he said. That is all? That is all. I rose. My knees carried the weight of miles though my feet had not moved. He made no move to hinder me. I went to our wagon and set my palm on the canvas. Rebecca, I said. She drew the flap and met me there. Her face shone with tears spent. The children slept in a heap like broken pups. She stepped down and drew the flap closed against the night. What has he done to you? She asked. Nothing, I said. What I have done is the trouble. She waited. She has a way of waiting that pulls words as a poultice draws heat. I lied to you, I said. About what? She asked. About the man I was before we lit south to independence. I told you the partnership I had near the river town soured on its own. That wasn't true. It soured because I salted it. I took the better side of the deal and left my partner with the green end. He went to collect on a herd without paper enough to back it. Pistols came out. He caught lead. I stood back. I might have spoken. I did not. I let a poor truth hang around his neck so I could afford this trek. She held still. Twigs cracked behind me, and the painted man shifted once, leather giving a deep creak. Rebecca lowered her lids and raised them again. Is there more? There is, I said. Near the Pennsylvania line, I rode with 2 others. One broke a leg in a wash. We had 3 horses and little water. I left him under a cottonwood with a canteen not half full, and told myself I would send help if I found it. He gave me his purse to give to his kin. I never found help nor his kin. I did not look hard either. Instead, I bought a clean shirt and a warm supper in Chester and kept riding. She drew air and let it out. Not disgust nor forgiveness, but the sound of a weight set down to be reckoned with. You have carried all that, she said. I have, I said. I laughed with men so they would not peer too close. I let your honesty shield me. I will not let it shield me tonight. Is there more? There is always more, I said, but these are the bones of it. I am not the man I want our young to call good, but I am the man you married. I would be better if I had the time. I pray I have more time to give. She set her palm to my chest and left it there until my heart argued beneath. Do you think the Lord smaller than your burdens? No, I said. She gave assent. Then he is larger than what you have done. I bent forward and covered my face with my palms. Those are the only clean words I have heard tonight, I said. Her mouth drew tight, near breaking, then steadied. You will not play that man's game any longer? No, I said, I will not. She reached for me. Then come, we will sit with the children. I cannot say when sleep found me. I woke to ash, to birds, and a sky the color of old rust. At dawn I saw how the place stood strange. No bodies, no Albright wagons, no stranger. Only our ruts, the pit of stones, and the chest where he left it, lid shut with the key set crosswise upon it like a needle. I stepped out while Rebecca kept the children under canvas. I raised the lid. Trinkets lay bright and dull, gold beside brass, silk beside twine. I shut it and fetched a spade. I carried the chest beyond camp to a patch of hard sage soil. I dug until the earth stood at my ankles. I set the box down and covered it until the ground showed only a seam, thin as a scar. I pressed it flat with my boot heel. Should any man find that place and break that box open, let him take caution with what climbs out to him. I write here that what belongs to the devil, what belongs to death, and what belongs to the wronged is best left where it was laid. A road keeps its due, and its due is best left behind. Fort Laramie, Wyoming, June 16th. We saw the post at noon, a square of palisade and stone set against the long swell of the prairie. Flags hung in the heat like tired tongues. The river bent and showed a line of willows that stirred in the breeze. A file of soldiers led mules along the far bank, their talk drifting thin across the water. Someone laughed about a steer. A hammer rang once and again, and it sounded like a world that belonged to daylight. Rebecca walked with the children at her side. Our house had grown a few extra mouths. To me, the fort was a truce, not a victory. We would have bread, nails, and a place to mend a yoke. We would buy salt, hear a fiddle, see men with collars unstained by dust. Then we would hitch again and move, for there is always more plain westward. Tomorrow I will keep to the truth, as a man keeps to the trace. If it parts, I will splice it. If it cuts, I will bleed by it. That is the only destination worth a mile.